so busy last night, you never finished telling me how your interview went.
It went very well.
And?
They've offered me the job.
I knew they would.
Well, I wasn't as confident as you.
Oh, come on. You're a great doctor. You're a terrific manager. Your instincts in the ER are just right on the money.
Well, you know, this is all happening so fast, I'm beginning to feel like I've fallen through the looking glass.
Is that a good thing?
It does feel good to be sought after for this position.
Ellen, since when did you need affirmation? You never doubted your abilities.
Oh, that's not true. You know, most people go from college to med school without missing a step. I deferred med school to put Sam through law school. I'd been out of the classroom for a couple of years when I went back to get my medical degree.
You were scared?
Terrified. But I tell you, I marched in there and I sat in the front row with my notebooks and sharpened pencils.
You worked hard.
I worked my butt off. And now I'm finally starting to see the fruits of my labor. You know, modesty aside, the offer from San Diego is incredible. It's everything that I've ever wanted. I mean, the chance to run an ER that's on the cutting edge of medicine and technology. I mean, they're breaking new ground every day.
So what's holding you back?
I love this place. It's where I became a doctor. I learned tough lessons here. Lessons I'll never forget. I mean, I'm not even sure that I've finished learning them.
Well, General Hospital is a leading institution in its own right.
And that's what makes it such a difficult choice.
So, you haven't made a final decision yet?
Well, they've given me a couple of weeks to think it over.
Which way do you find yourself leaning?
I honestly don't know.
Frank isn't here.
Frank will show up. Joe and Karen would have been here, but they have shifts at the hospital.
Well, I'm worried about Frank. It isn't like him to disappear the way he did last night. No, I hope he's all right.
Let's not worry about Frank, okay? Let's worry about getting you out of jail.
All rise. The Honorable Justin C. Murdoch presiding.
Be seated. Julie Morris Devlin, you are charged with murder in the second degree. How do you plead?
Not guilty?
So noted. You may be seated. Ms. Jensen, please proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Because the defendant is charged with murder in the second degree and because she has the financial means to flee prosecution, the state requests that bail be denied and that she be held in confinement pending the grand jury's recommendation.
State's request is noted. Mr. Baldwin, I assume you have a different opinion. Proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Dr. Devlin has a clean record. She hasn't been charged with anything. Anything. Her reputation is without blemish. Her career as an intern has made her a contender for the Quartermain Fellowship Program. In short, she is strong in character. And if granted bail, she will stay and face these charges as a solid citizen.
Your Honor, the defendant may have used good judgment in the past, but these are very serious charges.
Your Honor, the state's case is very flimsy here. We would like to have the chance to prove that she is innocent.
I bet.
All right, save your arguments for trial, counselors. Mr. Baldwin, continue.
Your Honor, Dr. Devlin has strong personal ties to Port Charles. She's not a flight risk. I would like to present a witness that will testify to her strength of character. I would like to put Dr. Kevin Collins on the stand.
I object, Your Honor. Dr. Collins' credibility is questionable at best, and given his history of mental illness, his opinions must be discounted.
Dr. Collins was successfully treated. If he hadn't been cured, I doubt that the chief president would have asked him to monitor the intern program.
I beg to differ, Your Honor. Dr. Collins is not a credible witness. Dr. Devlin's murder is identical to the one described in Dr. Collins' book.
That hasn't been proven whether or not it was a copycat killing or whether it was just a coincidence.
I agree. The objection is overruled. We may call Dr. Collins to the stand.
Dr. Collins, when was the first time that you met Julie Devlin?
Dr. Ellen Burgess asked me if I'd be willing to provide counseling for the interns in July of last year. I met Dr. Devlin at our first group session.
How was her performance?
She has always demonstrated an ability to stay positive despite adversity. From the hostage situation at GH to her own kidnapping by Greg Cooper, she has maintained a level of control that's admirable.
So no matter what situation she was in, she always maintained her cool. Is that correct?
Dr. Devlin has always found constructive ways to manage her stress and anxiety. In my opinion, whoever committed this murder lacks those very skills. The murderer is someone who has no impulse control, whose aggressive tendencies outweigh their ability to reason.
Hey, what are you doing here? Did you get something?
In private. One of my contacts found out where Chris Ramsey got his hands on $20,000.
What do you do, con some old lady out of her savings?
No. I'll go you one better. This time his mark was Bennett Devlin.
Devlin? Why would he give Chris that kind of money?
Look, you knew the doctor better than I did. I mean, it was the generous type that would have made a loan to Ramsey.
Oh, please. Scrooge had a better rep than Devlin.
Maybe he had something on Devlin and he decided to cash in on it.
Maybe 20,000 wasn't enough. Devlin wouldn't cough up any more.
So Ramsey killed the golden goose that he was blackmailing? No way.
Maybe Devlin was gonna have him arrested for extortion. That bastard. Ramsey. Nearly got me and several other people killed. He's probably gonna let Julie rot in jail for a murder she didn't commit. I'm not gonna let that happen. I'm gonna enjoy bringing Chris Ramsey down, Mike. I think it's time I had a little chat with Detective Garcia.
Hey, you were fabulous.
I don't know. I just want to get Julie out of jail, and I didn't like the way the judge looked when he recess.
He probably just had some fish sticks for lunch or something. Listen, you need a hug, Perry Mason. Come here.
Doc, look at that. Look at the way Eve is playing Scott.
If Eve and Scott want to go at it right here on the floor, it's none of your business.
That is completely disgusting. It is time that Scott woke up and smelled the air.
Scott is a grown man, and he doesn't need you butting into his love life.
Doc, I just don't want to see him get hurt, or worse.
Lucy, if you keep this up, you realize you'll only alienate Scott.
I was beginning to think you wouldn't make it.
You can't get rid of me that easily. Yeah, I'm sorry I left the station last night. I had to get out of there before I punched Garcia in the face. I figured that wouldn't help your case.
I'm glad you're here now. It might be my last chance to see you without a glass partition between us.
I don't want to hear that kind of thinking. You are going to walk out of here with me today.
All right, listen, Frank, take a seat. I'll get started.
All rise.
Be seated. In reaching my decision, I've taken into account that prior to this arrest, Dr. Devlin has had no previous record. And if the defendant is found innocent of the charges against her, she has the prospect of a bright and rewarding career. However, considering the violent nature of the crime and the financial resources of the defendant, which make her a flight risk, motion for bail is denied.
You can't do that!
possibly be in the charge.
That's it. That is it, Doc. I'm not gonna let Julie pay for something that Eve did. If Scott is not gonna wake up and face those facts, then I'm gonna prove Eve murdered him myself.